Happy New Year and welcome back to the channel. I'm Peter Mokray, a Dallas-based DP, photographer, gaffer with a one-ton grip van full of aperture lighting. On vlog number 41, I released a video showing the lighting layout for the interviews for this same shoot. On this episode, we're going to go over the B-roll that cuts into the interviews. On this shoot, I opted to use handheld and high frame rate so I could follow the movements easily. With the gimbal, it can be difficult establishing shots. Some moving shots are good, but if you have a lot of up and down, left to right movements, it can be tricky to capture focus and follow the movement. So I went handheld, high frame rate, 120 frames, just so I could stay on the action. And if I just catch a little bit of the action, I could drag it out with slow motion. Some of the testimonials we captured did have a lot of emotion, so having the slow motion did help a lot. Now, one of the main things when capturing B-roll for me is to always get wide, medium, tight, and move around and get different positions. If I don't like something, change it up. Here's a great example of always changing things up and moving and trying different things. Hold what you can for a while and then move to a different position if you have the flexibility. So I moved back a little, got something in the foreground, changed it up a little, and added a little depth with it. So now you have the foreground, the subject, and the background looking really nice. Here's another position of the workout happening and always moving around, trying to get the movements. The trainer is looking down, so I corrected her and said, hey, try to look at the eyes of the subject. And you can see she made the adjustment there and it worked out really great. Here I go in a little bit closer, trying to get some of her facial expressions, but also getting the weight in the shot, adding some foreground elements. I love foreground elements. They're my favorite. And then the smiling of the actual client is amazing. Let's talk camera. I'm running the FX3 with a Sigma 24-70, and then I'm running a Shinobi 5-inch monitor with a LUT applied so I could reference it. I'm going between autofocus and manual focus depending on the shot, and then I added my own handles so I have a little bit more control. This shot's important. You see I went from one side facing towards the trainer to the other side facing towards the client. I'm going to show you the differences and how sometimes you can get a blah shot and it just doesn't work. So this is really great. The background falls off. You have the trainer talking with the client. Everything looks good. So usually when you shoot over the shoulder or someone talking or you're at an event, you want to go from one side, get them, and then switch over to the other side. But when I switch over, that wall is just flat. It falls flat. It's one solid color. It does not look good. I probably won't use this shot unless I really need it. Here's another example of me just moving around, changing things up, and I'm like, oh wait, you know what? I think I'm gonna get a good shot going straight on. It's gonna look great. So I go to the straight on position, and boy, does it look amazing. They're doing a great workout. Everything looks good, but let me tell you, it is ugly. There's stuff hanging in the background. It's really false. It really falls flat. It just doesn't pack a punch. It doesn't feel good. If we lit this a different way, that could work. We can do some lighting and make some changes and make things happen, but it just wasn't hitting, so it got cut. Now let's talk about light. You see that big round light? It's my 7-foot umbrella, and then I have a aperture 600x matched to the ceiling lights. The other light is for the interviews. I just had it on. I think I forgot to turn it off, and I didn't want to forget to turn it on, so it's just there creating that lens flare that was just happening. But I have a big light source. I have it put back so it has good spread. I'm okay with a little bit of shadows. I'm usually creating an edge whenever I can and just working with it. So you'll see what the light does in just a moment. And you can see it's hitting the left side of them, and then we're getting overheads playing, and it's just a mix of light. But the most important thing is to match your overheads. So with the 600X, I was able to dial in to the overhead lights and everything looked really good. And here's our medium shot showing the same motion, and then we move into a tighter shot, which I made sure to keep in manual focus so it wouldn't jump around. Tight shots are really great. This one had a lot of movement, so I did autofocus. It tracked decent. I didn't get too good of a shot, but I got what I needed. Right there was the nice action and it was in focus. I'm always rolling. I could always cut footage if I need to. They're just having a conversation, smiling and laughing, and I was able to capture it because I was still rolling. Now we're going to move on to the interviews. Here's a quick look at the interview setups. I did show in detail the full lighting setup for the interviews in vlog number 41, but we're running two FX6s. We're running a 35 for the wide and a 50 for the tight. Here's another view of the setup, and then here's how it looked when it all went down. And we're in the same space, so we do interviews and then we cut over to B-roll. Interviews, B-roll, interviews, B-roll with the different subjects. So we've got to have some flexibility in everything, and that's why having 3 cameras for me works really well, because I could leave these 2 FX6s ready to go for the interviews, and then I have my camera rig set up for the B-roll. I just step away from these and say, let's get the B-roll. I have extra lighting set up just for the B-roll shots, and then all my lighting for the interview stays intact the whole day, which makes it way more efficient. So when I do have to do it as a one-man band, it's a lot easier. On this shoot, I had the help of my wife. She was amazing. She even helped with some of the interviews and made things go a lot quicker. So in the end, it made for a great and very effective shoot. That's what's amazing. There she is interviewing one of the subjects that we had, and we ran a Sennheiser 416 mic for the audio straight into camera. And now let's look at all the footage coming together in 2 of the final edits we released.
My best friend and I created 511 Fitness. We wanted to create an environment where everyone was trained accordingly. Nobody in this gym has the same program, because not one person in this gym is the same as the next person. We can create a program in a way that is only made for you. We wanted a safe place where it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you were overweight. It didn't matter if you were underweight. It does not matter. We just want to help.
I'm Becky at 511 Fitness, and I'm a certified personal trainer. What motivated me to become a personal trainer was I wanted to share what I experienced with everyone else. That feeling of being a client and having somebody empower you to become what you are now, I would want to share that with everyone I possibly could. I never want another person, male or female, to feel powerless, to feel depressed, to feel they can't leave their home, to feel like they can't lift weight or do something. I want everyone to feel the kind of power that I feel now.
What did you think of the edits? What would you have done differently? Comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one.